Webinars, I know, can seem a little remote. We're two voices coming out of your computer, so we thought we'd let you see who and where we are. Speaking to you right now, I'm Sarah Turner. I'm the Dean. I'm on the right-hand side of your screen, and on the left is Tricia Holt, our Academics Program Coordinator. Both of us are alumni, so we know how exciting and complicated looking for graduate school can be. We are who you will see at in-person events, at portfolio reviews, at webinars this fall. And this photo is recent, taken outside of our library just a few weeks ago. This is our most recent publication, What is Cranbrook, or more casually called just the Yellow Book. If you haven't received one, you can request one from our website at the end of this presentation. It's not necessary that you have one, but when you have a chance to read it, you'll see that it will complement a lot of what we'll talk about today.
Cranbrook is a school that offers a master's degree only in these 10 departments. We have 2D design, 3D design, architecture, ceramics, fiber, metalsmithing, painting, photography, print media, and sculpture. While you do choose a primary department and apply to that, work is also very interdisciplinary, and this is partly because we're small and truly a community, as you'll see throughout our presentation today. In our next webinar on November 16th, you'll get a sense of us and the greater Detroit community as well. And we'll talk a little bit about the studio life at Cranbrook. We have mentioned that we are small, and we are. This is everyone, 152 graduate students pictured together with staff and artists and residents about a month ago. Compare this entire school to the last place you studied, and that may help give you a sense of our size. Cranbrook is situated just north of Detroit in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. You're on 318 beautiful acres, and what you're seeing here is the entirety of the Art Academy. You see the studios, the living spaces, we have public spaces, the lawns, pools. We'll use this presentation today to give you a sense of how the Academy is different from every other graduate program in the United States. Here you see a list of our distinguishing features, and you'll see these features listed throughout the presentation. We'll be using them as a way to explain the program, and we'll tell you a little bit more about what these mean. No teachers, no fixed curriculum, no outside authority, no undergraduates, no crowds, no strangers, no ugly buildings, and no doubt. To say that Cranbrook has no teachers does not mean that you have no leaders. But instead of teachers, you have working artists and designers as your mentors. This means that they are in this with you. They are, of course, directing the rhythms of the department through scheduled critiques, discussions, one-on-ones, and on a regular roster of visiting artists. They are talking with you about your work and your development through reviews and studio visits. And yet, they are speaking from their own experience of making work, exhibiting work, pushing themselves, learning and making alongside you. It's just that they are several steps ahead. Their studios are adjacent to your studios. Their homes are across the street or nearby on campuses, and these are their real homes with their partners and families in many cases. And in this, community develops from collaboration and proximity. 1 architect, 2 designers, 8 artists, all leaders in their field, creating an experience for the community that is seamless in teaching, working, and living. Here you see Heather McGill, our artist in residence in sculpture, at work on a new piece in the spray booth. And Iris Eichenberg, artist in residence in metalsmithing, in her studio, which is in the department, which is right next to your studios and building new forms. And we have Mark Newport, artist in residence in fiber, working on a new embroidered piece. Cranbrook is a program that believes graduate school is not separate from real life. Here you are establishing a working studio habit that will continue after Cranbrook. So we don't shape the program with conventional classes or top-down structure. Instead, we have rhythms of rigorous peer-to-peer critiques. These are familiar to you, of course, but at graduate school, they step up. You are working with and in dialogue with 150 other students at the top of their game. Crits are rigorous,
They ask you to work on behalf of others. This is probably why so many Academy graduates go on to teach. You are thinking for others, talking about others' work, and receiving that benefit yourself. While Cranbrook has strong departments, it is also interdisciplinary. A flexible curriculum allows you to move between studios, attending crits in other departments, collaborating on projects, and mixing up conversations. Our flexibility also allows us to import thinkers. We actively seek out outside voices. We are careful not to become too insular. Our structure allows visitors to stay for a day or several weeks, giving students access to other points of view and ways of making for either a short, concentrated time or longer, slower workshops. Across campus, we can easily have 40 to 50 visitors from all parts of the world in all parts of the Academy. They're giving lectures, hosting seminars, giving talks, and they stay for dinner. We believe learning and thinking is best done in all ways, formal and informal, in the lecture hall and around the dinner table. No fixed curriculum also means time for special projects and cross-disciplinary collaboration. Seen here is a shared workshop between a metalsmithing and 3D departments, sponsored by Alberto Alessi for generating new objects of craft and design. Our flexibility also allows us to be opportunistic, seizing a visitor like Anthony Kuperman when he is in Detroit, and inviting him to engage students in conversation about a student exhibition in our gallery. The list of visitors is long and it's varied. We encourage you to read about them on our website. Not having a fixed curriculum also means students direct their own research. Some of that is book-bound research done in our library. Some of it is real-world research, such as this local trip by the photography department to a Polaroid museum in a convenience store that allowed students to look at photography, collecting, fanaticism, and display in different ways, and then bring that experience back to critiques. This allows for all forms and research and experience. Local travel to Michigan-based businesses, such as the shooting range, and out-of-town travel, such as this fiber exhibition last year at SOFA. We are describing a curriculum that is not top-down, but rather generated by the departments and in part based on student interest. Whether you are taking a trip to Detroit or farther away, when you are exploring display and presentation at a convenience store, you are not missing class. This is your study. Travel, student-directed research, and self-directed study lay the foundation for values and activities that will propel you after graduate school, giving you small and large experiences that can help track you forward. But the most important aspect of flexible structure is uninterrupted, focused studio time. It is what you are here to do. We prioritize making work. All students get private working spaces in each department. There is room to make a mess, and there's room to spread out when you need it. Studios can be a place for quiet working and retreat from lectures, seminars, and researching. And studios are a place to support your making. And of course, technical staff to help you figure things out. And there's also room to be left alone. You can make things however you want, even if that means putting a structure together with blue tape. When we say no outside authority, we mean that you and your colleagues set your goals. Cranbrook does not award conventional grades. There are no A's, B's, and C's. You simply pass or do not pass, because this is what real life is like. You are pushed by the community, and we expect you to push and encourage back. Rather than measuring in A's, B's, and C's, we measure by critiques, reviews, commitment, and effort. Students are self-directed and curious. You help your peers build and explore, pushing towards ambitious goals, using graduate school as a testing ground for experiments. And the work comes first. We've mentioned that Cranbrook is only a graduate school. There are no undergraduate students here at all, as there's simply no undergraduate program here. We're the only school like that in the United States. What does this mean? This means you have direct access to resources. All of your peers are working at your level. It means you're not waiting in line for undergraduates to finish. There are facilities to support ambitious and large-scale work. And while there's certainly technical support, graduate school is a time to work beyond technique. There's professional room for planning and preparing. There's room for fabricating and making. And there's room for building, organizing, and working at full scale.
Cranbrook is truly a community. As you've heard, your artists and residents live on campus with their partners and families. Their studios are next to your studios, and most of our students live on campus. Working and making happens all day and all night. There are big fancy meals for the whole community, and there are simple everyday meals in the department. All departments have kitchens where meetings, discussions, and good ideas happen around food. Impromptu conversations spill out onto the lawn, and so does the studio work. Installation besides the pools and in the woods. There is seamlessness between working and living, social life and professional life. At Cranbrook, you're building a community of collaborators, thinking partners, co-conspirators, people who will be your network and creative community for a lifetime.
Look around you, where you sit now, where you attend class, where you work in your studio, and think about doing all of that in a designed community that is simultaneously contemporary and historic. Saarinen designed a vista that swept up past the Triton Pool to the heart of the Academy. The Art Museum is on your right, and the library is on your left. At Cranbrook, the physical setting matches the intellectual one here, the Eastern approach to the 2D, 3D studios. You see our Art Museum, which has a regular rotation of contemporary art and design for students to access. The Nick Cave Here exhibition and performance series, which took place in the museum last summer. Nick Cave is an alum from the fiber department, and the exhibition showed over 30 of his intricately beaded and constructed sound suits. Another exhibition from the museum, the Hall of Wonders, which paired objects from the museum's collection with specimens from Cranbrook Institute of Science, creating unique vignettes in a contemporary wonder commerce. Academy Way is the main artery running through campus, and it centers the Academy with studios, dorms, artists and residents' homes, all running down its length. Our students can eat in Saarinen's impressive dining hall, one of two on campus. And while Cranbrook is historic, it builds on its history by moving firmly into contemporary culture. And in Michigan, it moves firmly into winter. This allows students to experience a setting and a context that is both historic and contemporary. Here you see the Mineo Studio building, which houses our ceramics, fiber, and metal studios. We encourage you to come visit. You'll find contact information for how to arrange a visit on our website. We really believe that experiencing a place is the only way to truly know it.
Cranbrook is and always has been a leader in art, design, and architecture. Here is the museum as it looked in the 1940s. And here is how it looked a few years ago when architecture student Quinn Van Tu intervened. One of our buildings then used as a blacksmithing studio, and that building now used for contemporary 3D design. Iconic furniture by Charles and Ray Eames, who studied at the Academy in the mid-century, and recent furniture that questions the role of objects and design in contemporary life. Then, students and artists and residents gathered for laughing, talking, and working as a group. And now, students and artists and residents gathered for laughing, talking, and working as a group.
Cranbrook is not only what happens on campus, however. Cranbrook is everywhere. We are performances in your public spaces. This, Nick Cave's Here performance series in Detroit. Cranbrook is also performances on your streets. Our graduates, Jen Catron and Paul Outlaw's anti-tour of the Chelsea galleries last year. Cranbrook is a part of our cultural resources. Our alum Kate Clark's work featured in National Geographic. Cranbrook is in your homes. Here, Eero Saarinen's iconic tulip dining set. Cranbrook is on your bodies. Seth Papik's remarkable wearable work. We're in your cities, the Eames helping to design how we understand public space. And Cranbrook is still helping to define what American public life looks like. Here, the New York City subway car, designed by alum Masamichi Utagawa of Antenna Design. In a moment, we'll answer some of your questions that we've seen coming in. We hope that we've been able to show the distinguishing features of Cranbrook, our unique and specialized approach, and make them concrete for you. It is a remarkable place. We're both very proud to have studied here and now work here, and we'd love to have you join us when you're ready for graduate school. As we respond to the questions, please feel free to keep them sending in, and we'll try to get to all of them. We're going to take you back now to Ron Hemphill's looping digital poster, so you'll have that beautiful image to look at while we answer the questions we see coming in online. We just have some general enthusiasm coming in first, someone who's very excited that Cranbrook is doing a webinar. We're glad you came. Thanks for the support. We have a question coming in asking about our application deadline. Our application deadline is February 1st. We encourage you to be working on your application well in advance of that. However, everything can be put together offline, so to speak, so putting together the text, putting together the images, and then you'll be uploading that through a slide room portal, which you'll find on our website, and you'll want to have all of that uploaded by February 1st. We encourage you not to wait until January 31st at 12 o'clock midnight because the website can get quite overloaded. So give yourself a few days lead time and you'll be all set. We have a few questions coming in asking for portfolio tips. It's always a great idea to have your best portfolio when submitting to a program like ours. We do have a bunch of portfolio tips available on our website. Feel free to peruse through. We've made those tips to help you guys put forth your best application. And like Sarah just mentioned, we absolutely recommend you start before the deadline. We do use slide room for our portfolio, and there's a number of different ways you can use that to upload your images, double check that they're looking good. We always recommend having great images and great documentation of your work. Looking at the sequence and seeing how you're placing one piece in front of the other and making a nice flow for the reviewer, and really thinking about having someone else take a look at your images, maybe someone that doesn't know your work that can take a look and really get a sense of what you're working on. We have a question coming in, as we often do, asking whether Cranbrook offers financial aid, and the answer is yes, that we do. I will give you a short answer to that, and then I'll direct you to the financial aid of our website, financial aid page of our website, where we break down every aspect of the cost of study, as well as every way that you can apply for aid. Cranbrook gives aid that is need-based, and you apply for that by filling out the free application for federal student aid. This is probably familiar to many of you. You'll find a link on our website. So we do offer need-based aid in the form of a tuition discount. We also offer merit-based scholarships. These scholarships require no separate application. You'll be considered for them immediately as part of the application process. We do have a work-study program that allows people to work while they're on campus in the art museum and the wood shop and the digital fabrication equipment and the library, so gaining some professional experience while also earning a little bit of money. Leslie Tabakis will be addressing the nuts and bolts of the application process on a webinar in January, and that's a time where if you haven't had all of your questions answered by the financial aid website or by emailing Leslie, she'll be able to take them during that webinar in January. We see a question coming in asking about whether or not you need a car to be at Cranbrook. We are the Motor City. Yes, it is absolutely helpful to have a car on campus. Many of our students do elect to live on campus, which is very convenient, but to get into the surrounding areas, grocery shop, go to art events in Detroit,
all that kind of thing, you do need a car. We do help students with some group transport. There's a lot of carpooling that happens on campus, but it is absolutely helpful to have a vehicle here in Detroit and Michigan.
And the last question that we see is about whether people can live in dorms or where people live when they come to the academy. We do have residential dorms, and we've got a few photos of those on our website. About half of our students live on campus, and those can be in either double or single rooms. Typically, double in your first year, maybe a better chance of getting single in your second year. And about half of our students live in the surrounding area, Pontiac, Royal Oak, Ferndale. And if you pull up a Google map, you'll be able to get a sense of the neighborhoods around the academy. Southeast Michigan is a very affordable place to live, so as you're thinking about total cost of education to go to a graduate school, you'll be happy to see that you can live fairly inexpensively when you move to Michigan. So those are all the questions. Thank you for sending them in. If you have more, you could always reach us through our website, of course, and you can join us again for some upcoming webinars. The next webinar will happen on November 16th. We'll be going through a day in the life at the Academy on campus and in Detroit. And then, as I mentioned, we'll have a webinar again on January 18th, which is the application and beyond, walking you through the process of applying and all the kind of logistical questions of that process with Leslie Tabaka and Vanessa Mazie.
You can also join us at in-person portfolio review days. On October 25th, we'll be at Parsons, the new school in New York. On October 31st, we look forward to seeing you in your Halloween costumes at the San Francisco Art Institute. And on November 9th, we will be at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago. So please join us, bring your portfolios, your questions. We'll have alumni on hand as well to talk about their experiences. And more information can be found on our recruiting, our prospective student page on our website if you have any questions about our in-person portfolio events.
So thank you, everyone, for tuning in this afternoon or morning or evening, depending on where you are in the world. It's been nice to get a chance to present the Academy to you. We hope to see you soon, and if you have questions, you'll find us through our website. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.